Well, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about SUI, ticker symbol SUI. This is a cryptocurrency, and during the last bull market, as you can tell, SUI went from you literally could probably start it right here. It went from 36 cents all the way to $5 and 46 cents, which was about a 1,300% gain from its low. But since then, SUI has been struggling. It's in a bear market. There's no doubt about it. We've lost about 85% so far. So we're not back to 36 cents yet. We're about 85. And it appears after looking at it a little bit this morning, we are in for some more downside, and we'll have to see how far it's uh, it's going to go down. So let's see if we can take a look at the charts and see if we have an idea of maybe guess how far it's going to go lower. Of course, the market is going to do what it's going to do, but it is telling us that there's definitely more downside coming. So I'm a long-term positional trader. I'm an amateur. I am not a professional by any means. I'm not a financial advisor. Uh, I just tell you what I'm seeing in the charts, and hopefully it's some use to you, and I get some things right. Um, and that's kind of like where we are. So I'm going to start off with a monthly chart. Since I'm more of a long-term trader, I like to look at higher time frames instead of the smaller time frames. So as you can tell, this is the 8 period moving average, and it's a simple moving average, and price is staying below it. In May last month, it wicked above it, but it was not able to sustain or even get close to inching to where it was starting to close the body of candles above the 8. So that's bad sign number one. You don't want to go against the moving averages. So as you can see, even the 20 start, even though it's been flat, the 8 has been clear. The price can't keep can't even get above the 8. It's going down. So it's going to go down some more. Now, what's interesting here is, as you can see, in February of 2026, we had a stop here, and we are on the June monthly candle, and it's just started. So it has 20 days until it prints, but it paused right here, and it's moving up a little bit. So what this means is that there is some buying pressure here at this current point. And as you can tell, it kind of hits this other body right there. So we're going to take a closer look at that on a lower time frame. This could be an area where SUI hangs about, and this might give the moving averages to a chance to catch up. However, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets broken. So we'll just have to see. Uh, but what I'm going to do now is let's go to the weekly chart, and it's what it's saying is, you see we had a little bit of a run. I call this more of a pause. So as you notice, as you're going down, you're going to have these kind of pauses where it tries to rally up, it fails, and then it starts rallying down. This one was unique because I would call it was like a double failed rally. See, neither one of these, even though this slightly was higher than the last rally, it still was over. And so it jumped down, then it tried to rally again. We call this a pause because, as you can tell, the price was respecting the 8. It was going down. It couldn't get above the 20. Down. It got above the 20, but it closed. The body of this candle closed above the 20. However, it was preceded by a very bearish candle, and we're back to where price is trying to get below the 8 again, and this is on the weekly. So what we're seeing is that the 20 on the weekly is still pretty much in control. We can pop on the 50, and as you see, it's not even close. So we're in the opposite of what we want as far as the moving averages go. We want the 8 to be above the 20. We want the 20 to be above the 50, and the 50 is up here. It's not close at the moment. Now we're going to dump down to the daily, and I'm going to just scrunch this up, and let's talk about this support that we're kind of seeing. So you had some candles that were kind of around this area, and like I said, right here. So support and resistance isn't necessarily just a flat line. Like you could just do something like this where you draw a line. However, as you can tell, this just barely dipped below it, so it's more of a zone. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this box here, and as you can tell, we'll go to the very lowest of that, and as you can tell, it paused kind of at the top side of this zone. So right now, this zone is support, and what we want to see is SUI going to go below the support line? And this could take a few months to play out. You literally could see like little pings. It could dip deeper into this box. It could consolidate sideways. We'll just have to see what happens. But if it starts consolidating sideways and stays as support, that might be good. That might limit the downside. That gives the chance for momentum to shift. But as of now, I mean, there's no clear signs that we're just going to start popping up right now. So if we go look at our other chart here, we have the relative strength index with the parabolic indicator on it. Then we have the stochastic RSI, and we have the money flow index and the MACD. And we're looking at the monthly chart, and as you can tell from a monthly perspective, we are the lowest that we've ever been on the RSI. That does not mean that it doesn't have more downside. Our technically below 30 is where it's considered most oversold. So we haven't reached most oversold point. So we could have more downside on this. But what's more concerning is the stochastic RSI shows no momentum. We're literally at 1. The red and the blue line are literally sitting on top of each other, and they're basically saying nothing happened in here. Even that last jump didn't trigger it to try to move up higher. So that's not bad. That's bad. If you look at the money flow index, it's still going down, and it hasn't hit theoretically most oversold yet, but it is very low from a monthly perspective. So we're gonna jump down. We're gonna skip the 2 week. We're gonna go to the 1 week, and as you can tell on the weekly, we reached this point with SUI and it reacted and kind of went up. So this was a pretty good oversold area. As you can tell, it's not the lowest point, but in the past, SUI had reacted, you know, when it got this low, it reacted and kind of went up. But again, it's not the lowest point, and it's showing that there's probably more downside as well. As you can tell on this weekly RSI, it is moving down. It had its cross in April of 2026. This was the start of that big move that went to the May, but it's going down, and it's going down convincingly. And the money flow index is pointed down. So we could probably see this inch down further. And then if you look at the MACD, kind of the last to go, the histogram is already starting to move down. The moving average, the white top moving average, at the moment it looks like it wants to cross the yellow. which is a bad sign to more downward pressure. If we go to the daily, we see something a little interesting, but I wouldn't say it's a lot of hope. Uh, so back here in when SUI started its big mega bull run, as you can tell on the daily, the RSI has gotten a lot lower, and we essentially had bullish divergence, meaning that the price was going up, and as you can see with this high point here, the price, well, it's, I guess it's, now that I look at it again, it doesn't look quite like bullish divergence, but the idea of bullish divergence is the RSI rises, but the price of SUI goes down. So as you can tell, I guess it wasn't quite bullish divergence. I don't know what I was thinking before, so I'm just gonna erase that. We'll call that bad planning, or I need more coffee. Uh, we uh, we haven't reached the lowest the RSI can go before it starts reacting, and it had this little turn up, but again, I could see it going back down below the 30 before it uh, before it starts before it starts reacting. As you can tell, even on the daily, the RSI is pretty low. We're talking at 4.52 from a scale of 0 to 100, and it looks like the momentum is going to stay down there for a while. Even though you see this little uptick, that doesn't mean anything until this with the blue line and the red line crossing the 20. That's when you're going to see price rise a little bit. From a daily perspective, that could just be like here, for example, we had a cross. This was April 2026. This was May 2026, and this is the that little price jump that you saw. So again, it appears that we are, from a daily perspective, we're going to be stuck in this range. And it could probably, based on the money flow index and what we're seeing in volume, if you look at volume, we're below average volume. And if we expand this, you will see that it's more red than green, which means that there's more selling pressure than there is buying pressure. And you typically know that you're very close to the bottom, where even if the buying pressure doesn't get above this moving average, you start seeing more green bars than red bars. And as you can tell, we're inundated with red bars. So there's more selling available to go. The MACD still is going down. It doesn't look like it's going to have a cross soon. So I do expect to have a little bit more downside with SUI. So the question is will SUI break this essentially this trend line? And if it does, then where is it going to go? Well, let's bring it up and take a look. There is this level here where it kind of stopped. It was short term, so I wouldn't really call that a strong level, and it's only one. Again, this had a very strong rejection here. And so if it doesn't hold the line, I would say we are in what I would call, uh, I mean, it could go all the way down here. I mean, that would be the bottom of, the very bottom of what SUI was, which would be about 35 cents. Uh, but I don't know if it's going to go down that low. I'm not convinced. Even though we haven't reached the bottom of overselling, it I don't know if it has that much into it, but it very well could. So uh, we could even go lower than 35 cents. So let's just say from a if this particular support line doesn't hold, and if price doesn't just keep on blah blah blah, kind of going sideways here, then the next low uh, We have a weak resistance line here, and I don't. The reason why I say it's weak is you only have one touch. See, this has multiple touches in this zone, which makes it stronger. Normally, for a trend line, you want to have at least 3 touches. And as you can tell, this has only one touch. This only has one touch, and this has closer to the 3 that we're looking for, which would be the 35 cents. So I'm going to say that if that previous line doesn't hold, we are there is a very good chance that we're going to come very close to this support line of 35, 37 cents, somewhere around there. And so all we can do is hope that that doesn't happen. But right now, like I said, SUI appears to be is going to try to hang around this particular trend line. From a investing standpoint, this trend line is probably not a bad place to put some money into, but there is the possibility that it could go lower. So if you are really concerned about it dropping to 35 cents, you may want to have your stop loss at 72 cents. And then if it does hit 35, that might be a good place to invest. But we have to see what the charts are doing at that time, seeing if there's any signs that the bleeding is over. But we'll have to wait until then. I hope you have a great morning, and I hope God blesses your day. And stay vigilant out there. Don't get discouraged by all these ups and downs and the lowers and lows. This is just an opportunity for you to get these stocks at a better price, especially if you can see the potential and you believe in the stock and you think it has the fundamentals to move back up. Please don't think that peanut or bonk or even probably pudgy penguins is has a lot of good fundamentals. Okay, we're talking about this is a level one stuff. This is a level one coin, and it is used on a day-to-day basis. So have a great day. Amen.